Hello and welcome. Dr. Slaton Live, the brain's body, the ultimate experience. And I want you to know that today we're going to break it down. Because when we talk about the experience, when we talk about Dr. Slaton Live, for example, now in the field of education and science, I've been working with children and families in crisis, and the thing that I've learned the most is that you want to help them live through the experience of the crises. So when I got the name Dr. Slaton Live, it was for one of my kids, because one of the words we work through is live. Learning how to live with self, mom, brothers, sisters, inside the community. But the concept is live, because when I talk to you, I'm talking to the brain and I'm saying live. Now, we're talking about therapeutically. When you're in crises, you want to understand that word, live, through the experience. The ultimate experience is you. Because when you choose to live through the experience of pain, hurt, and sadness, when you're realizing that you are the experience, and I don't mean that in the inner voice sense where it's full of doubt. We're talking about your brain's body talking through your action, your feedback loop, where when you respond, you accept the responsibility for being the experience. And in doing so, you deliver levels of awareness for contact with that other person. And the interaction is twofold now, because you're already receiving it, because you're in the lead. When I say the brain leading the body, that's what I mean. And working with children and giving them that power, and then having them feed that power back. For example, go inside the classroom, or once the teacher was the trigger, but going inside the classroom and being calm. And as a teacher, engage them, stay cool. And as you stay cool, the interaction is taking place. But the brain is in the lead of the body. So whatever you do next is because you believe that you have the capacity to focus, because you sense, to feel the body, the brain, the senses, messaging. And so you don't get upset and angry. You become more cool, because that's the goal. Be cool. You become more calm, because now you're saying, okay, but what are you calling on your brain to do its part? Or your sense of feel for self, the connection. Now you're living through the experience of the crises. But it doesn't stop there, because now you're the ultimate experience. So when you become the ultimate experience, the realization is ego. Can you stay under control? Well, that's why you teach human systems research to young people. Because human systems research says, let me get me out of the way. Self first. I'm going to study me before I even interact with you. Because I know I got to get my inner voice out of the way. So my brain talk is fully engaged in accessing the receive path, forward feed. So now I'm ready to begin the back and forth interaction and trusting that I'm going to do and say what I mean, because my brain is leading my body, and I'm not reacting, I'm responding, because I'm cool, I'm calm, and I'm collected. So now I have reflection working, because I've experienced the experience of you experiencing me. Now that forward feed is even quicker, because my brain is informing my body, and my senses are collectively engaged in focus. So now my emotion, my mentalness, and my physics are all on board. I am managed, controlled, and processing the experience. So that's where it comes from. The ultimate experience is you. I want to break it down today so you understand. No, it's not a philosophical term. It's an activity-based learning term. You learn how to live through the experience of self by beginning to understand the responsibility that you have to manage you, your ego, because your identity is your inner voice. Backward, your sense of self. Backward, the environmental you. Understanding that when you allow yourself to interact through a sense of feel for self, you are now collectively using forward and backward feed to comprehend the experience. So you're out of the way now, because now you're moving through other people and the environment. And that's where you become an entrepreneur. That's where your creativity comes out. That's where your response becomes more productive, because you're beginning to formulate ideas on how to stay in the lead of your body. And so what's happening? No, that's what's happening. It's transferring what happened to what you're doing now, which is happening to change the physics of the body, your states of mind, fixed thinking, blocking the flow of information to your brain. You're now beginning to access that sense of feel for self, because you want to understand the crises of contact interaction. Moving through. Wait a minute, it doesn't happen without cooperation. I'm not going to throw scientific names at you. I'm just going to tell you there's a pyramid effect. Contact to interaction to cooperation. Without those three, you have no participation. That's where your performance went. You didn't participate. Why didn't you participate? Because you refused to move through the contact. You isolated, withdrew. And so now all you have is a state of mind. And that's what you're working with. So what's the experience? The experience is your sense of self. That's it. Your identity. What is it? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Your id is not enough. You have to have ego. Ego fuels id. So what I'm saying is that transformation has to be disciplined, because you don't want to become self-centered, where all you can do and look back and not forward, because you practically focused on you and not the interaction with other people and the environment, to lead yourself to learning how to live through the crisis of self, to become more informed on how to learn, think, and respond. Bam! Dr. Slaton Live, giving it to you straight up. See? So what I'm saying to you is the experience is the experiencing of these experiences. So when you pick up my book, that's why you picked it up. Because I'm talking about the experience. I'm talking about the experience, but I'm trying to get you to understand what I'm telling you. The experience is you. Because that's your power. Once you understand how to experience yourself. Wait a minute, I just said, now listen to this. Wait a minute, practice. Practice, practice. Experience you. What does that mean? How do you experience you? That's what this is about. Because you have to get over yourself first. Give us some research. Get over you first. And as you get over you first, give us some science. The brain, the body, and the senses become more aware of the messaging that's taking place. And what you want to do is begin to make better choices and decisions. So that yesterday you were very reactionary. Today, you're more focused. And why are you focused? Because you have to choose and decide, because your body's going to react either way. And you got to be prepared to catch up. So your brain has to be in the lead of the body, because when you react, and that reaction is violent, aggressive, or demeaning to other people, the brain has to have the path to come up and catch back up to that reaction, and transfer that reaction through words and through practices. I got you. I didn't mean it that way. But what we just now say, we just synthesized the reflection, how we should have responded. No, we're talking about human beings. We're talking about human system science. You study self in relation to other people because you want to understand the environment. Home, school, native workplace, family, education, government, business systems. No, these are all techniques to reduce the crisis of self. So when I'm talking about the experience, I'm trying to lead you to understand that there's a whole lot of things you got to be able to do to become the experience. You have to move through contact. You have to interact. And you must be cooperative. And that's not for other people, that's for you. Because your brain has been interact through you. And if you're not cooperative, you're focused externally, and that's what the external influence is designed to do. Trick you. And now your body is physical, mental, and emotional because your brain has been locked out. So people say, oh, wow, he or she just, they lack control. They don't know what, you can say anything. They don't understand the triggers. No, they don't understand how to sense, feel, to focus. The brain, the body, and the senses long enough to understand what's happening. I just said it again. It happens, to happen, and it keeps happening until you begin to understand how to be cool so that your sense path can formulate the brain-body connection so that when that transfer takes place, the brain's already in the lead because the brain is responsive to contact. It's responsive to interaction. It responds to cooperation as signs of care when it's coming from you. If you care, the brain is free to work for you. Why? Because you're not resisting. You're saying, I can do this. I can respond. And what are you working from? The experience of practicing sense and receive path functions. So that you begin to realize my sense path is the influence of the environment coming into my body, where my brain has to respond naturally to anything I experience. My brain must be in the lead. So why are we talking about brain? That's what I'm talking about, because everybody's talking about the body because they don't understand the brain. No. We're talking about neuroscience right now, but I'm giving it to you in a way that you can just digest it fluidly. And you can grow and evolve. You can build children out of what I'm saying. I'm talking about children who have problems, interact with other kids and others. You can break that down. But that's neuroscience. What are you talking about? The neurophysical transformations of self, other people, into a language system, brain, body, sense messaging, that's more understandable so that you have management and control over you. And then the processing, the brain processing kicks in. It all begins to make sense. So I just wanted to break it down because you know what? I'm out here, and this is about to turn February. We got a new president. All kinds of things are happening. And my responsibility is to go next level. So when you tune in, prepare to experience the experience, because what I'm teaching is how to become the experience, the ultimate experience, the amazing you. Understanding your sense of self as the identity that is percolating because it's influenced by the environment. And your ego cannot be overwhelmed by those inner voices because then the ego is not under control. So the ego has to have your support in understanding self as an experience and be willing to understand the experience of the experience is you cooperating to participate in sense and receive path functioning. You become more aware. Each day you become more and more aware. And each day you learn how to manage and control your brain's body so that when you're interacting with other people, everything's clear. So what do? When the brain is in the lead of the body, what are you saying? You're saying that you want to develop the capacity to understand how your brain works, how your brain learns, how your body lives, how your senses respond to the physical self, through beginning to learn how to learn the brain, body, sense systems. Have you ever thought about that? No, because you see, we're talking about intellectual development, we're talking about human development, we're talking about improving and advancing your human potential simultaneously. It means not telling you how to think, but mentoring so that you are involved in the activity of thinking. So when you tune into the channel, that's my goal. My goal is not to tell you how to think. It's to motivate you to think through the things you feel so that we can begin to analytically evolve as an intellectual community. Go beyond what you see. We're not talking about behavior. We're talking about human systems science, the study of self, other people, and the environment, because the brain, the body, and the senses is your communication system. And when I talk to you about reading to the brain, listen. When I talk to you about writing to the brain, observe. When I talk to you about drawing to the brain, I'm talking about your sense of feel for self and others. And when I talk to you about acting, I'm talking about acting through the crisis of self to comprehend the crisis of other people and begin to understand that's not you. Because often, frequently, we'll pick up somebody else's negative experience and claim it as our own, and now we double down on the crisis of self. Because we got to get through our baggage, and we got to figure out somebody else's baggage and how to get that out of the brain's way, right? And then last, perform through the crises. No, because your brain, body, and senses are all synthesizing each step. Reading, writing, drawing, acting, performing. Because your communication system. And so each one of those products tell the story. Reflective storytelling. It tells the story. What happened? What's happening? What's keep happening? Especially when you draw. Wow. I didn't even know. Wow, because you're not drawing from what I tell you, you're drawing from what you feel as we're interacting. So as I'm talking, you're drawing what you feel. No, your brain is on. Don't listen to me. Work with me. This has been Dr. Slaton Line. And remember, subscribe. No, let's get this ball rolling. I'm waiting on you. Participation is everything. Dr. Slaton Line. Stay tuned. Brain's body.
I want to